So today our topic is policy change, and this is the most common, usage, and most of the places you will see. I mean, and yeah, most of the time you'll be working on these kind of transactions: policy change, out of sequence, preemptions, um, and a different type of amendments. So you'll be doing those changes throughout the policy life cycle, right? So I will cover few theoretical, the theoretical functionality I will explain first, and then I'll show you the actual policies and how do we actually, if you want to make any changes during 1 year. Let's say we have taken a contract for 1 year, and if any changes are required in that 1 year period, how do we actually make the changes in that period, and what is the impact of those changes into our premium. So those things we will see now. Okay. So policy changes, basically policy change is something, I mean, which you change during the course of or during the term of the policy. So now here understand two things. There is something called as term. Term is term, basically it's a number for that you are going to sign the contract. Let's say if you agreed with your agent that I'm going to pay, I just need the policy only for 6 months, your term is 6 months. If you agree that you want a policy for 1 year, then your policy term will be 1 year. And after 1 year, so after 1 year you have to renew the contract, or maybe if you want to leave the current contract, you leave it from here and you take the insurance from some other company. Both options you will have then. So term means that till the time they will provide you the insurance of whatever things you're going to cover, they will give you the insurance within that period. If your claim comes after the date, beyond the date, I mean, prior to the policy contract term or after the policy contract term, they will not settle any amount. So that's simple. That is, we call it as a term, 1 year term. I mean, so in this term, whatever changes you want to do, they will allow you through the policy change. So here is simply the change transaction policy prior to coverable edit, remove. So what all changes we can do? So first of all, the chain transaction changes the policy prior and prior to the expiry date. Same thing they're saying. So if you have a term policy and if you want to make changes anything into this term, then only it is allowed. It. If you want to take any changes before this term, after this term, that is not allowed. It because you do not have any, you do not have any insurance here. Your insurance is from this period to this period. So from your effective date to expiry date. So anything you changes here, it will be allowed through policy chain. Otherwise, they will not allow you to make any other changes, because if there is no contract, there is no point of allowing the changes as well. What all thing we can change is we can update the coverage, we can remove the coverable, we can add coverages, we can remove coverage, we can change the limit, anything, any changes. But as per my knowledge, or the Guidewire, even a small change makes a difference in your premium. So generally coverage changes we do, but let's say if you do very minor changes, let's say you are changing there were some issues with let's say the issues with the name, and the name was not proper, or the name you have given, right, it was not proper, or let's say that your date of birth cannot be, I mean, it should be same, because date of birth has a lot of dependencies to give you the insurance, or in which year you get the license and all those things. So those minor changes, if you do, it may not have impact on your premium. But if you actually changes the coverage, then definitely it will have change. I mean, the changes in your coverage. Then this one we will see in the actual slide. So how do we create the actual policy change? So we will, I'm not going to, so how do we verify the changes policy graph? Now understand here, this is the actual policy change graph. Okay, here. Now policy graph is, I mean, in the from the graph we will understand that how the entire life cycle happens of a policy. First we started a quote. So quote is nothing but a submission here in Guidewire, right? So we already know that we start a submission. So submission will be started. This basically this will tell you the number of transaction, whatever transaction we are going to perform. This vertical bar, or this horizontal line is explain you that from where our term starts and from where it ends, and we will see number of transaction performs in this. Now, first thing what we need to do, we need to start a code. It will start from here and it will expire here. So it will have a effective date. It will have an expiry date. So our code will be created. Once the code is created, now after 3 months and 4 months, let's say I'm giving an example. What initially when you took the insurance of, when you bought the insurance, right, with the insurance company, you had one car. Now, after 2 months or 3 months, you got one more car. I mean, let's say the car was for your husband or for your brother or anyone, your father. Now, after 2 months, you got your own car. Now you want to insure your own car into your same contract, what your husband is running, your father is running, or your any other your caretaker is running. Okay. Now, after 2 months, what you will come is you will call your agent. You will say that I want to add one more car into the same policy contract. Can you please add it? Can you please add insure one my other car, and then tell me what is the extra premium which I need to pay. So I mean, so here there might be two questions. Why we need to add this car into the same contract? Why we cannot take a new policy? So the advantage of adding the same car into the same contract is they will give you some discount. If you take basically if you add multiple car, if you add more than one car, no, there is something called as multi-car discount. So if you in the same contract, if there are more than one car added, then since it is a multi-car discount, they will give you. So it is better to take you to basically to add all your cars into the same contract, and that is possible through policy change. And other advantage is it's a single place you have to pay the premium. Let's say if you are maintaining two policies, then your billing cycle will be different. In every 10 days you will get one bill, in every 15 days you will get another bill. Sometime if you forget, then they will ask you to pay some delay, some late fees. So in order to avoid all these complications, you can simply go ahead and call your agent that I want to add one more car, or whatever changes you want to do. You call them and then they will do you. But that change will have to now let's say after 3 months you decided that I want to make a change. So then they will add a car after 3 months, and it will be there by end of the term. Okay, so this car. Now if something goes wrong to car B in this period, then they will not settle any amount, because that was not the insurance. You took the insurance of the second car from the after 3 or 4 months. So till that time, so it is also depending on the effective date of the change. So if it is already in the effective period, then only they will settle the amount. Otherwise, they don't do here. So here the same thing, initially first period and second. So this one you understand. This is the submission. This is the full quotation and policy created, and this is a change we're doing. But this change is happening after let's say 3 or 4 months here. Sorry. Now here after and now here you made one change here, and after 3 months you decided no, I've got one more car. So I want to insure my car is already, one car is already insured, car B is also insured. Now car C also you got one more vehicle, and that you want to insure your third vehicle also. Let's say your son or your daughter, they got a new scooty, and then you want to do a two very, you want to ensure that if they allow, I'm saying given the same contract, if they allow, you can add that also as part of the same contract. So then the chain C will be started until the end of the term here. So in the same contract it will be added. And here the thing to understand is, now whatever contract we are going to rewritten, right, in case of policy change, it will be copied over from the previous period. Let's say if I'm going to create a policy change B, the data will be copied over from the A. So whatever changes or whatever coverage you have selected as part of your code transaction or policy transaction, same thing will be copied over to your policy change, and then you make changes on top of it. So here now let's say if I'm going to create a policy change for A, and then B will have all the changes what A already has. Now if I'm creating a one more policy change for C, then C will already have what A and B has. So until let's say if I'm going to create a policy change C here after 6 months or 7 months, then whatever is my current contract, A plus B, those changes. So I will see my car A, car B, and then I can see from here my car C also. So basically here it will always take the previous version reference. So if C, and so this previous version should be issued, it should not be quoted. It should be issued, then only the system will understand that this policy is effective in the system. If it is just quote, they will not consider that, because quote transaction, it is not necessarily it will go for for the final contract. So if it is issued, the policy change is issued, then if policy change C is created, then these two changes will be there in policy change C. Here now this is for one year policy contract. You see that, no, from here to here this is 1 year contract, and they added. Now let's say after next year your policy contract got expired here, and then they decided, and then you decided no, I in the next year also I want to go with the same contract. So what you will do is you will call your insurance company. They will ask you, ma'am, you want to continue your same contract, whatever you have. You say yes. If you say yes, And then they will ask you, you want to make any changes also in the next year? You will say no, I whatever contract I'm running until here, until this date, what you do is you same thing you carry forward to my renewal term. So what they will do is they will perform a renewal here on the expiry term. They will create a renewal here. In the renewal, whatever you had as of by end of your end term, everything will be copied in your renewal. They will not remove anything. So basically, they take the reference of the last bound period and then they copied over everything into a next term in the renewal term. So you will see everything here. Now, in the renewal, if you want to make any changes, they will give you an option. And they will say, ma'am, if you want to make any changes, now we are going to write a new contract because it's a new term. So if you want to make any changes, you do it here, and then we will finalize the contract and give you the renewal document to you. So then you make changes here in the renewal term. Again, the same cycle will happen on the renewal also. Now, once this term will get expire, your other term, let's say if you're going to renew the policy, then it's the same policy number. In case of renewal, they will not change your policy number. It's the same policy number. But what happened is this term will be expired. If you see here in the this term will be expired, and you will see this term will be enforced. So at a time on your policy, only one term can be enforced. It cannot be two terms enforced at the same time. It is not possible also. So if the renewal term is active, it means the previous term is already expired. You cannot make any changes to the previous term because that is already done. Now in the next term here, you whatever changes you want to do, now you perform on this next term here. Now here there are two things. One, I explained you, now you know what is term. Term is basically it's a term. I mean from here the contract which you are going to sign for. So here one term is like from policy change. Sorry, policy start date to expiry date, one term. Renewal start date to renewal expiry at another term. So that is term number two. Now what is period? So basically period is nothing but a transaction here. Okay, so period is nothing but a transaction. Now here they are talking about a new period. So period is nothing but a transaction. From here to here, it is called as term. Now every transaction you, so whatever every transaction you create, right? Let's say quotation. So quotation is a policy period. Policy period basically it's a technical term that we use. Developer use this term to take the reference and do the coding into policy center. But basically for you, for the business analyst, they call it as a transaction. But for us in technical language, we call it as a policy period. So we say, if you ask me that what is this, then I'll say this is a policy period. This is a code policy period. This is a policy change policy period. This is again a policy change period. This is a renewal policy period. But when you talk in terms of business language, this is a policy, some code transaction and issue transaction. This is a chain transaction. This is a chain transaction. This is a renewal transaction. So it's the same thing, but a different term technically in the business term. Okay, now here just understand with the date. So same thing I explained here, and then understand with the date. So here the same thing they're saying that. So same thing they're saying that now with the date. So they are saying that they created a policy code and the same day they issued. So it is there. Now on after. So now this policy got started on 20th one, means 20th January this policy got started. Now after 3 months, let's say in March, this guy is coming for a policy change. But this guy so I told you, right, there's a difference. So once the policy change is also issued, there will be effective date. So your coverage will be counted, or your insurance will be counted from the effective date. Now, if you see here, the policy change started on March, but it got actually effective on 1st of April. So 1st of April will be your actual insurance date will be started for the policy change here. Now in April they have made one change, and in May also they have, on 10th May they have made one more change here. And after this end of the term, what they have done is they created one renewal here some. So this is the same thing they're saying. Yeah, so bind date effective when the transaction was processing complete. When do the transaction come? Yeah, same. This one I have already explained that what is the bind date. So bind date basically, if you bind the transaction, it will be, you mean you are freezing the contract. There are no changes allowed in that contract. They will do the background verification in the, let's say in our in actual case scenario also, right? Generally company give you the offer letter, and before joining they will do the verification. They will come to your house, they will do a lot of things, they verify, right? And they will check whether are you really working in that company. They will come to your house, they will, a lot of things verification they do before they give you the joining there. Same thing happens here. In the bind, after bind, they will do they will do the actual physical verification. Once they satisfy whatever information you have provided, then only they will issue the policy. So once they issue the policy, then your policy will be issued and you will have an effective date. So this is the actual date from where you will have insurance started in the insurance company here. Now base, yeah, so base period I've already explained. Base period is nothing but, let's say, whatever changes you are doing here, right, and policy channel B, this period, base period, would be the previous transaction from where they need to take the reference and pull the transaction. So if here, if for here, if I'm creating transaction B, the transaction A will become the base period, because that is the latest bound period there. Now here, same thing. If I'm creating a chain for chain C, then they will take the reference from B, because that is a base period. I told you, right? It will be always the previous bound period. So this is the previous bound period. This will be, then this will become the base period for policy chain C. So this is important here. Now this is, I'm going, so this is something called as preemption, and most of the question they ask from here, that is what is preemption. But I don't want to confuse today, because I want to start with a simple policy change. So preemption and out of sequence, these two are bit tricky transactions in policy change, but we will see this. So just to understand one overview, what is preemption is. So preemption basically is when two transactions are running same to same, I mean at the same time. Same time means your let's say you want to insure your car, okay, that your car is there. Now here, same to same means, let's say you want to add one more car, at the same time you got a truck also, that you want to add your mini truck. Let's say you are in some I mean, this generally this is taken by some dairy business. Let's say they are having a dairy business, and on along with their car they are having one, you know, one mini truck to supply the milk and all everything. I mean, it can be anything. Okay, now what happens is, now if when both the transactions are running hand to hand means on the same day. Now let's, okay, now let's say after 3 months, this guy wants to add one car here. Is there any question? Okay, so here, now let's say after 2 months, this guy wants to add a car here. Can you guys please go on mute? Hello. Can you please go on mute? There's some background noise. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here preemption basically is when okay, fine. So preemption, yeah, basically when two transactions runs simultaneously. Let's say after 3 months, this guy wants to add one car here. Okay, this, let's say this is the actual date, and now let's say you are going to take a policy in Feb. Okay, now Feb is running. After 3 months, what you want is you want to add a car. Okay, let's say after 3 months, what would be in May you want to add one car. Now, at the same time, you want to add a truck also. So when both the transaction will run on, because at on the same date, only one transaction can be proceeded first. So once the first transaction will proceeded, then only the second transaction will be. I told you, right? If you create multiple codes, then only one code can be succeed on the same day. That you cannot take multiple. I mean, when you take a new policy, that is so only one code you can select and you can finalize. Same thing happens for policy chain also. Policy chain on the same date, if both transactions done hand to hand, then if let's say if you have created this transaction, and then on the same day you created one more transaction, then this transaction B will become the preemption transaction, because you started a chain but you have not completed it, and you are trying to make one more chain on the same date. So then when if you come to this transaction, or sorry, in this transaction, they will say there is already a preemption transaction. So then please complete this and then you come back here. If you, so basically here what happens is, I told you always they will take a base period. So if you take a chain, the base period is here. If you take a chain here, the base period is here, right? In the car too. So here, if this transaction is not completed and if it is on the same day, then they will ask you to complete this first and then you come back here, or you club both the transaction. If it is on the same day, both can be clubbed into a same job. But today, this is just a summary. When I will create actual transaction in Policy Center, then you will understand and it better that what is preemption. This one also will learn there. Uh, this is the warning we get when there is a preemption transaction. How to be handle preemption? This one also we'll see in preemption class. Apply or changes. Okay, now we'll see the actual, we'll create an actual policy change here in the system now. Okay, so I have an account here. I'll load it. Okay, so now let's say what I'll do is I will create a new code first. I'll do a copy submission. So on copy submission, I told you, right? You can do a copy submission on any policy. Here I will create a code. Today's date here. Yeah. So if you see here, okay. So now if you see here, right, I created a code. I'm going to start a new policy, a new person. I'm going to take a new personal auto policy, okay, for 1 year. And today is our actual policy effective date. Okay. Now if you see here in our initial contract, we have only single car. You see that no, we have added only a single car here. Oh, sorry, there's a truck added here already. So that is already added in this contract, and everything is fine. Now what I'll simply do is I'll just issue this policy. Okay. So now if you issue the policy, you will see this screen. Now your policy number got generated. So I'll click on this policy number. Now if you click on the policy number, you will come to this policy summary screen. Okay. In the policy summary screen, I told you, right, whatever action you can perform, whatever changes you want to make, you have to always go to this action tab, and then here you will see something called as chain policy. You see that no? Here something you see that it is called as chain policy. Then you click here on chain policy. Now your actual effective date of the change is like 2/7/2022, right? Now after 3 months, you want to now we are in February, in Feb, and our policy contract from Feb to Feb, it is for 1 year. And now after 3 months, you want to make changes. Let's say in May, May 7th, we will say you want to make one changes. And always remember that whenever you are making any policy change transaction, please put the description here, because if you don't put the description, and basically insurance company will not know why this change got performed. So what is the purpose of the change? So one liner that what is the change? So let's say want to add, or we'll say that adding a new vehicle here. So this is a change we have got. So what is the purpose of the change? That we want to add a new change to add a vehicle here. So and now I'm going to make a change after 3 months, and this should be my effective date of the change. Okay. Here what I'll do is I'll click next. Now, if you come next, right, you will see the same policy contract. It will come in the edit mode, and then you can make changes wherever. So in policy change, everything will not be possible. Let's say if you have a year policy, the effective date and the expiry date of the term you cannot change. Okay, that is something which you cannot change. But anything which is allowed through policy change in Guidewire system, that changes can be done. Now, if I click next, here you see that no, these dates are frozen here, right? That effective date and expiry dates are frozen here. The 2/7/2023 and this thing, these things are frozen. You cannot change this thing. If you want to change the contract, this is allowed through rewrite, but not through this. Even this is also frozen. I don't know why it is export, but this is, you cannot change the term also. If it is an annual term, you cannot change it to 6 months. That is not possible through policy change. Here, insurance company, everything is selected. If you want to make changes, I mean, these things also you can change. That producer of record and producer of service, these things also it is allowed. So producer of record basically is the producer that, let's say, I mean, when you signed a new contract, you have taken insurance with one agent. Okay. After 3 months or 4 months, that agent, the agency company, right, itself, it got closed, and they are not giving, they are no more in the insurance business now. Then what you will do? Then to whom you will check? Let's say after 3 months, you call your insurance company and they say, ma'am, I have closed my business. Can you please, can you please call the insurance company? And they will give you the new insurance company. And from that insurance company, some agent will help you there. So what then will do is, then if there is a change in agent also, the service or the agency, right, that which you are working with, if there is a change you want to make, so this is that producer of record means the agent which you have already working. I mean, which you have worked previously. And then who is your service agent? Service agent means currently you are working with agent. That is your service agent. But if you work, so let's say, but if let's say if you are working with a single agency, then both the places you will see the same information. But let's say if there is a chain in the agency company, agency, then you will see the service agency will be the current. I mean, for the current term, what is your service agency? And if you have worked with any previous agency, then those agency detail you will see here. So this is basically the difference between the producer of record and the producer of service. Underwriting company, you will this one I already explained. This one you will get from the sample data. It will be auto selected based on the policy contract. These underwriting companies are assigned to this policy change. Now I'll say next. If I say next, then they are asking me to add basically one more person here. So now let's say I'm going to add a new car, so I'll add a new person here. In the new person, same thing, date, completed training class. So I completed. I mean, it is not mandatory. Whatever things are mandatory, you enter that. Class type, number of accident. Yeah, this is important. So put zero. Put zero. Training type. Do not select number of violation. Good student. First year license. Yes, in 2009, this guy gets a license. Qualify, all those things are not required. Name, you enter something. Let's say I enter John Johnson. Okay. Date of birth of this person. Somewhere in just a second. I think some setting got changed here. Right. Now I will enter the date. Let's say 23 on 7 to 1990. Okay, marital status. Let's say this guy is married to other. Oh, sorry, I'm entering, but I'm just putting one. Anything you can enter. So single also I'll put. Primary phone number I'll put here. This is the standard you need to follow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Now some address I'll put best zip code I need. It does not matter, but you can enter. We'll get one California zip code. Okay, I'll take one extra zip code here. City. And then let us the address, home address, license, California, and SSN number of this guy. Okay. What we are going to do is we are going to add a new person here. Let's say, okay, this is a new driver basically we're adding. Okay. Now here we go to the rules and do information we need to enter. So everything is done here. Contact details are added here. And date of birth. Okay. So most of the things are entered here. Now, as part of this change, what we are going to do is we are going to add a new person. That this person will be driving the new car. Or let's say if you are driving the same car, let's say Robert is only driving the same car, then it's fine. But say if they are going to add a new car, then the new car, if it is not used by Robert, then Robert is going to add a new person here. This could be the driver. It could be any other person. I mean, any of the family member, anyone they can add. Basically, who is the owner of the car? Who will run this car? Now I'll say next. Here we need to add the vehicle detail again. So this is already, I told you, right? They will take the reference on the code period, whatever you already have in the current contract, everything will be there in your policy change. Now they will add a new vehicle here. They will create vehicle here. Once we click on the create vehicle, you can add the vehicle number 2 here. So I'll just put here 2. Yeah, the detail will be populated and you can enter. It is not necessarily you need to take the OTP value. You can enter your own value also. Body type, anything you enter, and license state, California. And what is the cost of the vehicle here? Just enter, let's say $13,000. Here now here you need to define who is going to run the vehicle. So we have added a new person, John. So John will be running. Let's say they both are partner, and then they are taking the policy here together. So here John is the owner of a new car now. Now if I click next, yeah. Now here it will ask you basically. So I told you, right, there are some bodily coverage you can add, and there are two type of coverage. It is on the companies of the contract level. One is at the vehicle level. So here whatever limits were already there. So these limit will be common across to the people. I mean, okay here, but here they will ask you to give the option to add the detail for the specific vehicle. So now the new vehicle we have added is yeah. So this vehicle was already there, vehicle number 2. Now if you come to vehicle number 2, now if you come to vehicle number 2, in the vehicle number 2, now what is the new coverage you want to take? So earlier we took, if I go to vehicle number 1, in the vehicle number 1 we had only collision coverage, right? Now if you go to vehicle number 2, in the vehicle number 2 they will ask you that, if you when you're going to take a new, when you're going to add a new vehicle after 3 months, what is the new coverage, if you want to take any new coverage, or then how it will work. So this guy wants comprehensive coverage and wants collision coverage also. Now two new coverages we have added, okay. And he wants towing also, towing services in the new vehicle, because he was earlier he did not take, so he suffered a lot, and then he wants now. It is not necessarily that whatever changes you are doing you have to do into the new vehicle. Even you can make changes into your original vehicle also. Let's say this was the vehicle added, right? So let's say after, when you add your new vehicle, at the same time you can make changes into your existing vehicle also. Now earlier in the existing vehicle you have taken a collision coverage. Now you decided your vehicle got stuck on a highway, and then you did not get any help. You are calling you are calling your relative, but it was very far and they were not able to help. So then this time you decided, no, I want to take my towing and labor charges, because they are very helpful. They come to highway, they will tow your vehicle from there. So even now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new vehicle. I'm going to add coverages to the new vehicle. Plus I'm going to make changes something in the existing vehicle also. I'm going to add few coverages for the existing vehicle also. That is also possible. Okay. Here these things will not get changed. These things will be applied. These whatever the liability thing we have added earlier, those things are some are already defined by the insurance company, which you cannot change. But if you want to change, you can change the limit and all, everything here. The limit and all can be changed from here. Now additional coverages means if you want to take any additional coverages on top of whatever coverages they are giving you previously, on top of it, if you have any specific requirement. Let's say you want to insure your electric equipment. Sometimes what happens is, when they insure your car, some important part they don't cover. They will say to you, ma'am, this is not covered, that is not covered. So if you have very specific requirement of electric equipment, mean let's say you are running you have a car. In that car, you have your laptop also in that car, and let's say if your car is stolen, they will give you the money for the car. Then what about the laptop? Which was what about the belongings which were there in the car? If you miss your laptop, you will simply lose 1 lakh rupees or some. I mean, if your company laptop, it's a costly amount. If your personal laptop also, it could be any important belongings also, right? In the car, then who will take responsibility of that? So if you have any specific requirement on top of your car insurance, then you tell them in advance, ma'am, I want to take this insurance. In this insurance, I know I have a car, but can you give me additional insurance where whatever belongings are there in the car, do you have any kind of coverage who can give you the insurance of those things also? Let's say your laptop could be there, your jewelries can be there, or you any any important thing can be, or your important documents can be there. If those, I mean, your car got burned, everything will be burned there. So I mean, it's all risk. So if you, so that's why you're going to take. So whatever risk you see, you identify first, and then you go and ask for the insurance. So here they will say, I want the electric equipment. Basically, in the electric equipment, so some limit you can take. That up to what limit they will pay you. So I told you, right, this is the maximum amount they will pay you. So you select here additional coverage, tap, and so it is not necessarily that whatever requirement you have or whatever risk you see, they will give you the insurance of everything. It depends. If the insurance company I mean, provides the coverage, then only they will give you. Otherwise they won't give you. They will say, ma'am, currently we don't cover those things. So what you do is, if you want to take those insurance, that is not covered, we will give you the insurance only for the car. If something goes wrong to your car, we are responsible. If whatever was there in your car, we are not responsible for that. So now here I'm taking some additional coverage. Exclusion and conditions, these are also important. Exclusion means if there are specific things which are excluded. Excluded means now let's say you are going to take a home insurance policy. Okay, in the home insurance policy, in your home there could be a lot of things can be there, right? In your home, your money can be there, your jewelries can be there, and your property documents can be there. So insurance company will give you the insurance only for the home damage, okay, not for the belongings which are there in the car. So let's say, I mean, and if your home gets burned and you claim, your insurance was like say $5,000 or $10,000, and you are claiming for like $50,000, you will simply say that you give me the money for the belongings which were there in the car, sorry, in the house. They will not give you. They will simply say they will take a signature from you before. I mean, if you really want to take, you can go and ask also that if you go for insurance I mean home insurance, they will give you the insurance for the home damage. They will not give you any insurance for the belongings which are in the car, or which are in the home. So they will specifically, they will give you the exclusion letter. They will take the signature from you, and they will say you declare whatever things are there. But it's up to me that whether we want to cover or not. If we have coverage, we will cover. If they cannot cover, they will put those details into exclusion. So in future, you won't file any false case against them. So they are very smart guys. And conditions also, they will define some conditions also, that these are the conditions, ma'am, you need to sign. Then only we will go with that the contract. So those kind of things they will add in the exclusion and conditions. Now I'll click next. In the click this one, you already know if there are underwriting issue, whatever changes you are going to do, if there are some changes to be reviewed by the underwriter, it will automatically come here, but not now. When the changes comes, when the agent will try to code the policy. Now if I say I'm trying to code this policy change, we'll see what happens. Okay, you see that no, there were no underwriting review, and this change was happening smoothly. There was no review to be done, so they have given us the code now. Now in the quote, how do you know what was my initial cost and what is the new premium I need to pay? So here you see that no, that this is the total premium now you need to pay. Earlier your premium was less, and now this is the total premium you need to pay with two cars, and you have made some amendments into your existing car as well, right? This is the tax. Now your tax code also changed. That what is the total cost? The total cost is the same thing. I mean, total cost means this is your actual premium plus taxes. This is the total premium. Now, what was your previous cost and what is the new cost? So you see the difference here. There is an increase of $1,147 per year. That there is an increase here after this change. So you change in cost means you can clearly see the cost here. Now there is one more thing. Yeah, here this was your. Now if you want to see that how much I'm paying for my vehicle one, how much I'm paying for vehicle two, that those the segregation also you can see here. You see that no, the vehicle one is added here. In the vehicle one, this is the amount now you need to pay. Okay, now this is your vehicle two also got added here, the Toyota, and this is the premium you are paying for vehicle two. What all coverages you have taken, you see the no, towing coverage they have added, collision they have added, comprehensive, everything they have added here, and based on that they have calculated a premium for you. Now totally for car one plus car two, you have to pay this much premium. But actually this premium you don't need to pay immediately. This premium, the updated premium, you need to pay after 3 months, because these changes you're not doing immediately, right? Currently we are in Feb, so we don't need to pay. Whatever premium you're paying for 3 months, you need to pay as it is. After 3 months your new car will be added, right, in the policy contract, and after 3 months only they will ask you for the new premium, not within the 3 months, until that this policy is in effective date. So after then basically they are just giving you the code. They're giving you heads up, ma'am. If you want to add a new car, then this will be your premium. Whether you want, if you agree with this code, then only they will give you they will issue the policy on this change. Otherwise, they will not issue the change. If you don't agree, you say that no, this is too much, and I want people to pay this much. Who will pay like $2,500 or $2,600 per year? It is a very high amount actually. So if you say no, I don't want to take this, and then you just reduce the coverage. I mean, a lot of coverage we have taken, right? You see that a lot of coverage we have taken. Comprehensive, all those things. So you will come, then you will say no, I want other coverages. You will reduce some coverage, and you can cut down the salt based on your budget and all those things. Those things also it is negotiable. Now here in you, there's one more tab called change cost. I mean this one, cost change. So cost change, I mean this one I'm not going, I don't want to confuse today, but this is a complex topic. Here you can change, you can see the change in cost also for your vehicle one. There is some yeah, so you see that in the vehicle one there is a new now change in cost. Mean in your vehicle one, what did he do? In the vehicle one, you added a new coverage, so that coverage got you see that no, they have added this coverage here, and they are saying that since you added this coverage on top of your current contract, this is the new premium you need to pay now. $21 per year you need to pay extra now on your vehicle one. Vehicle two was not there, so they have added here. Vehicle two entire thing got added newly, so they have added here the complete change, because this is a complete change. Now here one more thing, there is something called as review also. I don't know if I'm not seeing that screen. There is something called as a review also, policy review. Yeah. And so if you go to the policy review, and let's say if you now I have clicked on quote, and before the quote, if you want to see basically what is the change I'm doing, you want to see the summary of the change. Where do you see that? You click on the policy review screen. When you come to policy review screen, here you will see the exact change. What was your previous contract and what is your new contract? You see that no existing policy. Existing policy means this is your current contract. Policy change means this is the new contract. So wherever you see tick, it means those things got added. If you see cross, it means those things got removed. So this is your driver label. This is a new driver. This driver was not there on the existing policy. What did you do? You added this driver. So they are saying that this, and in this chain, this driver got added here. Here in the vehicle also, you see that no, this vehicle one. So vehicle one, if I just expand that, you see that no, in vehicle. So you will on this screen, you will see only the change which got impacted or which got amended. Only those changes you will see here. Okay. On your car one, what is the change you perform? We added a new coverage called towing and labor. So this coverage, they will see it was not in the existing term, but it got added in the policy change term. Here, same thing on the car two. Car two was not there at all. So car two, they are saying that it was not there at all. So you are going to add. You see that no, this is the complete change we are going to do right on this contract. And I don't think so. Apart from this, I have made any changes to this. So, but whatever changes to the system is very smart. They will capture everything. They will show you the summary also. If the agent and underwriter, they are fine with the summary, you are fine with the contract, then they will go ahead, and what they will do is now they will click next. Once you quote the policy, then they will give you some forms also, some policy change form they will send you. Because there's a change in the contract right after 3 months. So what they will do is they will generate some exclusion letter, they will generate some policy change document, they will change there are changes in the contract document, the amendment document, they will send you to email once you find with this contract. Now here what you have to do is now you have to pay the new premium right after 3 months. Whatever the new premium is, you make the payment. Not immediately you need to make the payment, but after 2 or 3 months they will come back and they will say, ma'am, now your new policy term is coming in, so can you, or you can make the advance payment also, that's not a problem. So if you come so if you come next, there is a payment screen, so you have to make the new premium now. New payment now for the new premium. You see that here. What is the total cost? Now this is the total cost. What is the change in cost? There is a change in cost is 1,000. So you don't need to pay the complete amount because that is already part of contract, right? You're already making the payment. Now, after you change something in the cost, your installment will also get changed. Earlier, let's say you were paying like $1,000 per year, per month, or let's say 100 or 105, $500 per month. After you make changes, your per month premium will also increase because you are going to add a new car, and you have added some changes into your existing car, so that premium will got changed. You see the installment also will be now whatever installment you are paying, there will be some change in that installment also. You can see that here. So those changes, and what is the change in cost? So you need to pay this much because current, if you have done a yearly payment, it is already done, they will not ask you, but whatever payment is left over, that amount you need to pay here. So they will take the remaining amount from you, and you can divide that into an installment. It depends on the payment plan which you are taking. Are you taking the 9-month installment plan, 6 months, 1 year? It depends on whatever plan you choose. They will take the premium from there. So this is for the payment screen, but you don't need to make the payment because this is just a dummy screen. But I just going to explain here. But this one we will see in payment class. In the cost class, we will see how these things impact in the premium. Now, if I just simply issue the policy change, and okay, before the issue change, I wanted to do so one more time. Now here, what happened is what we are going to do is we are going to add a new vehicle right here. We have added the vehicle number 2. Now we are in Feb. When we are adding this vehicle, we are adding this vehicle after 3 months, which is in May, which is a predicted date. You are predicting that you will get a vehicle in 3 months, because the vehicle you go to the showroom, you book the vehicle, they say, ma'am, I'll deliver the vehicle in 3 months, but let's say there is a delay. there is a delay in vehicle and you are not getting the way you got a call from the the provider or the agency that, ma'am, we will not be able to provide you the vehicle in 3 months because there are a lot of demand on the vehicle, and the manufacturing is not available due to a lot of regions. You are not getting your car on time. What then you will say? Then you do one thing. Then you will tell them, uh, when I will get my car. They will say, ma'am, now you will not get your car in May. You will get your car in June now. So now, and this contract is not finalized yet, right? This is just a quote transaction. It is not finalized yet. So if you in the finalization state, if you come back for to change the actual date, I mean, if you want to change the policy change effective date, where do you see that? If I come to the policy info screen, you see that no, here there is no, I mean, if I just so if you want to, I mean, after the code, after the transaction is quoted, and if you want to make change any if you want to make any changes to the current to the any contract, what you do is you simply click on this edit policy change transaction button. If you click this button, this entire contract will come into so your entire contract will come into the edit mode. But in edit mode also, let's say if the date which I selected for 3 months date, where do I change that? I'm not seeing any option to change the date here. You see that no on none of the screen has the date. I mean, if I come to any screen, you won't see the actual date which I entered for the policy change. So how do you do that is you come to the action here, and here there's something called as effective date. So if you want to make any changes there, then you come here in the effective date, and this was the date we selected right here. Now instead of getting your vehicle on May, you suspect that you will get your vehicle in June. So now you change the date as 7 June, 1 month you increase. Okay, now you come next. Now if you have to do the quote again. After this also there will be changes in premium. Now you see that no, there is some less amount you need to pay because now I have changed the date for 1 more month. So now one more, you don't need to, your vehicle is not insured for 1 more month now. And it should not be because you have not got your vehicle. If you've not got the vehicle, why simply you will make the premium? It does not make any sense. If your vehicle is not there and simply you are making the premium, what's the use? There's no use. So what you do is you change the date and then you come back here, and then the cost got reduced here because it is now from the June. Once everything is finalized, you simply click on this issue button. Then your policy change will be issued now here. If I click on the policy change issue, yeah, you see that no, here this simply say that the policy change has been bound. Bound means now my policy change is ineffective now. If I click on this policy, you see that no, now my policy change, this is your actually policy summary screen. Then where do you see what is my code transaction, what is my submission transaction, what is my policy change transaction? So what you have to do is you have to come to the policy summary screen. You search any policy and come to the policy summary screen. You see that no, I'm on the policy summary screen. On the policy summary screen, if you want to see your policy chain transaction or any other transaction, there is, if you come down, there is a screen called policy chain transaction here. In the policy chain transaction, you can see the complete summary, what all transaction you have on the particular policy. On this policy, I have two transactions. You see that no, initially I created a quote and then I issued it. So this is my initial transaction. And this transaction, what is the effective date? You see that no, I started this policy chain on 2/7 on the same date. I created this policy chain on 2/7, and on the same date I issued. So my effective date is also 2/7. Close it and leave for now. This one, and this is the, and you see that no, here I told you only at a time only one term can be enforced. So this is your enforced term is running currently. You see that no, this is the enforced term running. When renewal happens, this term will get expired, and other term renewal term will get effective now. So until 2nd Feb next year, this term is expired now. Sorry, this term is active now. Here you can see all those account detail. But if you want to see your policy chain, that what is the chain I perform, then you select on this transaction, policy chain transaction, and you can see the actual effective. You see that no, this policy chain will be in effective from 7th of June now, and your quotation transaction is already running now. Next chain will be there from the 7th here, and all those things, all the changes. So this is the place where you can see the policy change. Now let's say I'm going to perform one more change here. Now I'm going to perform a policy change C here. I'll do a policy change, and this change you want, let's say from June, July, August, and October. In October, you decided that I want to, you get one more car. You expect to get one more car, and then you're adding second vehicle. Okay. in this policy change. I'll just click next. Here everything and none of the things we don't need to change, and we cannot change also. Now we'll click next. Here you see that no, when I initiated a third policy change, whatever data or the base period, I told you base period is very important. So whatever detail I already had in my policy change 2, everything got copied over here. Whatever was my base period here. So when I performed a policy change, after June, what was my contract? My policy chain 2 got already added, and the things got copied over here. And so in October, I would have 2 cars already, car 1, car 2. Now I'm going to add a car 3 here. So this is one type of change. Now let's say or if you let's say if you started any code transaction and if you don't want to take it, you simply click on this withdraw button. Okay, that you click on the withdraw button, and then your code transaction will be withdrawn there in the system. You don't need to take it. Now this is one scenario. Second scenario is I'm going to perform policy change. Now my policy chain 2 got started from 7th of June. Now let's say I want to make one change which is prior to this June. I mean something got added and I want to make one more change which is prior to June. Now here if I add something here in 7th May, right? Now they're adding additional vehicle. Now if you see here, this transaction I'm doing in May, but my actual policy chain 2 is going to start from June. Now here until May you do not have your second car, right? You had only your single car. Now what is the base period? Here they will take the base period of your code transaction or your actual policy contract, because the policy chain which we have already created is going to start from June, and we are going to create a policy chain which is prior to that. Okay, so here the base period will be the code transaction here. Now if I click next, and okay, sorry, this is the out of sequence sign. Okay, so I'm not going to confuse today. Now this is the out of sequence transaction. Out of sequence transaction basically is if you already have a chain and you are going to make any other chain which is prior to the actual policy chain transaction, this will become the out of. This is the complex transaction. I don't know. I don't want to cover this today. We'll see this tomorrow. The policy chain, this transaction. Here now what I will do is I will create a policy change after October. Okay, so then let's consider the scenario today. If I come to June, we already have a car. Now I'm going to add one more car which is after 7th. Okay, here I'm going to add vehicle. Okay, we are going to add one more vehicle here. Now this is the everything the same contract will be come here. We don't need to change anything here. There are 2 cars. If you want to add a new person, you can add a new person, but let's say if the same person is going to run 2 cars now. Okay, now what we will do is we will add one more vehicle here. 2 cars were already there until now. We are going to change the contract in October, so 2 cars were already there, and we are going to add a new car number 3. If I do add car number 3, it will be added. Just enter the cost, let's say $17,000, and what is the license state? California. Now, who is going to run the vehicle? You can decide. If the Robert is going to run the same vehicle, the third vehicle which they are adding, we can add the same person who is going to run it here. And nothing we need to select here, and then we'll go next. Yeah, you see that, no? Here, so car, this is the vehicle number 1, vehicle number 2, and vehicle number 3. Okay, in the vehicle number 3, now if you want to take any additional coverage, then you can take the coverage for the vehicle number 3. So we'll take a collision coverage for vehicle 3. Okay, now see, only one coverage we have taken for vehicle number 3. Now I'll go next. Here I'll click on next. Yeah, you see that, no? There again we come to the summary page. So summary page means whatever is your bound policy transaction. Bound policy transaction is your policy chain is the latest bound period transaction. So it will take the reference from there and it will see, and it will compare that whatever new changes you're going to do in that contract, right? What we have done as of now, so we can see the complete summary here. Yeah, you see that, no? Here this, okay, don't need to export this. So you see that existing policy. See this. vehicle 3 was not there earlier, and we are going to add this vehicle completely new. So it got, you see that no, in the policy chain contract, new policy chain contract which we are creating, this, and you see that no, every policy chain will have a number. Don't confuse with this number. This is the policy chain number. Your policy number will not change. Your policy number will still be the same. This is just a reference number for the policy chain. Like we have a code number, right? Similarly, for each policy chain, you will have a number created. This is for the system purpose. If you want to refer any policy chain transaction, you can refer with this. But if you ask what is your actual policy contract, this is your policy number. This is your actual policy, and this is just a reference number for this policy change. Now here they generated a policy change reference number, and then this is the new vehicle we are going to add, and then we'll say code. Now you see that once we added a third one, there's again a change in the cost, and now this guy will have to pay $483 extra. This guy will have to pay now because he's going to add a new vehicle here. So now what was the old cost, everything you can see here. And if you want to see the summary, that what is the summary of, so for car number 1, this guy will have to pay this much. For car number 2, this guy have to pay this much. For car number 3 also, he will have to pay like $451. And now total whatever is coming here plus taxes, this is a total premium now this guy will have to pay here. So there is also a change in cost now here. Now after they are fine with the contract and everything, then but they simply go ahead and then say issue policy. Now we'll issue the policy here. Now you see that the policy transaction has been mounted here. Now I'll come to policy, and if you want to see actually what is the policy chain transaction, you come to policy chain transaction here. Yeah, so even if you withdraw in transaction, you will see all that whatever transaction you create in the system, everything you can see here. Even if you create a draft transaction, you can see here. If you withdraw any transaction, you will see here. If you cancel something, you will see here. All the transaction will be shown into the screen. If you come to policy change, policy transaction screen. So initially we started a code, so it is bounded only, and then I by mistake I started a policy, so I withdraw. Withdraw transaction we don't need to bother. I mean these are not the active transaction in the system. Then I created again one more policy chain which you can see here, which is enforced, and then I created one policy chain transaction and I withdraw, so it does not affect. Now this is the latest transaction which I created here from in October. And now if you want to see what is the change we performed as part of this transaction, you come down here and you click on this view policy. Now here we are seeing the complete policy summary screen. If you want to see the specific policy change policy, the transaction detail, you click on this link and it will take you the only the, now here you see that here it will show you the detail only to a specific transaction. So this transaction number 3 we created to add one more car. If I go to the vehicle, you will see there are 3 vehicles added, right? You see that here there are 3 vehicles added. Now if I go to policy, if I come to policy transaction, and let's say if I am coming to this policy chain, right? You want to see what was the chain I performed into this policy chain. You click here and you come here. Now if I go to vehicle here, you see that there are 2 vehicles added here, because this time and in this policy chain we just added a new vehicle here. This one we added, right? Okay, so now if so basically this is the way we can see the policy transaction in policy center here. Okay, any doubt in the this is we call it a sequential policy chain. Sequential policy chain means this is the scenario we understood right here. So we saw this transaction here. This is a sequential transaction. Sequential policy chain means one transaction is happening after the other. I mean there is no conflict in the date. Currently date conflict scenario we will see in preemption and out of sequence. So initially we added one car, then second car we added, and third car. So it went smoothly here. When we created this thing, everything was there in A, what was copied over. When we created C, everything was there in C, it will be copied over. Renewal we will see in the renewal class. But here until now we have seen this transaction here, A, B, and C. So these we call it as sequential policy chain.